Oh, very good
Hello.
evening. Hi everyone, how are you?
Good evening.
You can unmute your screen.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Looks like a
That
bunch
is
of
very
Yeah.
good.
rats.
Okay. Wow, a big bunch of energetic young people here. All are Green Drinks committee. Thank you for your time for holding this first Green Drinks Facebook Live event. So today our topic is COVID-19 versus the environment. Today is 25th of March, the Wednesday, and we're going to hold these sessions for approximately 1 hour. And we are very grateful to have approximately, I think, 8 of you all, the Green Drinks Committee, to join us in this first Green Drinks live event. And they will give their inputs and their experience and their, of course, their knowledge in this theme today, which is on COVID-19 versus the environment. We are very pleased to have them. And I think now it's a difficult time with COVID-19 virus, and a lot of countries are in lockdown. But Green Drinks events still move on, and we take this opportunity to do this live. Normally, we will do what we do is we have a bi-monthly physical event in a venue. Normally, we do it in New Central. A lot of people, 20, 30 people, sometimes up to 50 people, so come to attend the event, and we have speakers to speak about it. Today we're going to do it a bit different because of the lockdown. We can't meet each other due to the regulations, the law, and let's do it live and take this opportunity to learn these live sessions. And one great news we have heard about the environment is I think some of you might heard in the news is because of the China lockdown, the air pollution, the famous air pollution in China has tremendously reduced, and people are breathing good air. Even without, typically they will wear a mask in their daily life, but now they no need to wear it because nature has come back. There is no activity of manufacturing, no more all these dirty nitrogen oxide, carbon dioxide, these disastrous kind of air pollutions going into the air. And China is very healthy now, and that shows that nature it's breathing back again. And in Malaysia, I just heard from my friend, friend of River of Klang, and they do a lot of volunteering activities to pick up rubbish along the river bank. So they also seen that there are more the water, the river flow throughout the River Klang is cleaner now because of the lockdown. A lot of activities have stopped, especially in manufacturing, water pollutions. Normally they would just go to the Klang River, and now it's no longer, and the Klang River is reviving. I still remember those days when I walked through the bridge here to Mid Valley, my office. I seen a group of otter. I think this otter will be very happy
I
with
think they're
this
having a
clean
party
river.
there now.
Yeah. So I mean, with this COVID-19, we take this opportunity to have this live to talk about this nature is breathing back again, especially with this COVID-19 virus. What we will do here is we open the floor to every one of you. You all can add in your comments, your opinions about it, and we talk alongside. All right?
So basically, how we're gonna do this is all of us will be sharing our thoughts based on our understanding and also research about the current environmental situation during the lockdown period, and also definitely we'll be debunking some myths or some rumors that so-called some of the environmental recovery news, but it could be also a fake news. So we'll be also debunking the myth. And after the session where we share our opinions, we'll be having a short question and answer session where anyone that commented in our Facebook page, or if anyone shared the thoughts, we'll be reading out, and if possible and if able, we'll be answering some of the questions.
Anyway, we forget to introduce ourselves. My name is Bernard Eng. I'm the moderator of today. I'm also the advisors of Greendrink's KL team. And besides me, her name is Shimei. Shimei is also one of the committee in Greendrink. Shimei, maybe you can introduce yourself a bit.
My name is Shimei. I'm currently in waste management. Like I always like to brag to everyone, it's actually essential service for all of us during the lockdown period because we have to keep the place clean and also hygiene for everyone to continue their life during the lockdown period.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Shimesh, for the inputs. Let's start off with the first candidate who want to start. Izati, let's start from you. What do you think about the COVID-19 versus the environment theme today?
Okay, the first thing that is interesting that from what I've read before this is that we found that the monkeys around in Thailand were roaming around Lopburi city. It is because they are depending on tourists to feed them. This is the negative impact of feeding the wild animals. So we need to let them to live their own life independently. During this time, we found that that's the bad effect of it. And then we can just imagine that if we are in the same place as the monkeys, it is not impossible for that to happen during this difficult time. Everything is impossible. And then, so we must be prepared for any possibilities. We must brace ourselves for it. And then I found that the global emission of carbon monoxide and other similar pollutants dropped by 53%, which is more than half from last year, March 2019. I think it's actually a blessing in disguise somehow. But I think also this is one of the ways for our Earth to recover. So yeah, I hope that more carbon monoxide and other pollutants will drop and make our Earth better, in a good place somehow. So yeah.
I think I remember you've shown us videos in WhatsApp. Can you play that? The monkey story?
I think that one with Alvin last time.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Maybe later we can play it.
Okay, okay, great, great,
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, who wants to volunteer? Daniel?
Can I try?
Yeah, yeah, cool. Go on. Cool, introduce yourself a bit. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Ko. I'm currently running a social enterprise in terms of tackling food waste, which is similar of what she may doing in terms of waste management. But I also involving in special project by Petronas in nurturing our social enterprise. So in COVID-19, these periods, for myself personally, I actually being locked in my house, especially because of my health problems. So like I can't go anywhere. Then it's like a suffer for me lah. But the good thing is that what I feel the good things from COVID-19 is that one team which is actually our nature is breathing now. Why I say so because in some places now actually our air is fresh. For instance, like what Brendan mentioned, China, but not only China, but Hong Kong as well. So their air is cleaner now in the sense that because of lockdown periods, everyone, no traffic, not going out, and most likely nobody smoking. So the air is cleaner for the people around there. But the questions come in that we see that this is a climate change or climate issue is a very long-term issue that we face since beginnings, like very long time ago. People would tend that is to say, hey, everyone is like dealing with that, so I don't care. So it's like lacking of issue or lacking of solutions to tackle long-term issues. So in this COVID-19 actually give a signal for us to see that actually what we can do to help our nature. For instance, during lockdown, we see that light traffic that ended up that our mother nature, our mother earth, is adapt the changes of a human beings habits, which is like obviously within like what Bernard said is like lockdown only in Malaysia is like less than 2 weeks, but the change already happens. So that's the thing that we really need to look into that. Basically, this is what I feel in COVID-19 and this period to environment itself. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you for your inputs. Next, who wants to try? Daniel, you want to try?
Yes, yes,
Daniel,
I,
introduce
I,
yourself a bit and go on with your speech.
yeah. So I will share the screen to show you the my
Introduce yourself,
prepared
Daniel.
slide. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, with slides.
Sorry, yeah. So you guys can see the the presentation slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will share to you guys two key point, two keywords. So the first keyword is human virus. So of course I'm not going to prove it scientifically, but I will demonstrate it in in an analogical way. So I will explain it by below phenomenon or and behavior. So they got two relationship. I will I will explain, and you all can just maybe find a similarity and think about it. So the first one, human virus. A human, when human meet the virus, it will lead to lesser traffic and outdoor activities because they are staying at the home. So the second one is when the earth meet the human, it will have a lesser interaction between the wildlife and the nature because they are all staying at the zoo, reserve forest, and a certain sea territory that without pollution. So as these two linkage, we can see with more freedom and advance of mankind, the more restriction on the wildlife, and they are forced to live at the design space. It seems applies to the virus with a more freedom and more freedom of the virus, the more restriction of the human. So they are going to stay in their home for about 1 month. So so this is a phenomenon, and our so as human behavior is same as like you virus replication. When virus replicate its RNA, so in a human cell, it will modify the its origin structure and to produce the offspring. So eventually they will kill the host and fight before they finding when they find another transmission and or another host. So the another condition is human replicates its civilization in the earth, and they will modify the nature and develop the economic aggressively. So they will pollute the nature. So will it like virus? They will will it like be like the virus to destroy the earth before they finding the another home? Yeah, you. So this is the question. So the so don't be like virus. Be like probiotic. You can coexist with the host with the earth. So let's keep sustainability. So yeah. So the second keyword will be human are the boiling frogs. We always think that we are the cooker that try to cook the potatoes for the food as known as profit. But we always forget that we are also the frog in the slowly boiling water. So we human as a human, we are not don't just focus on the potatoes. If not, we will perceive the danger and to be cooked along with the potatoes. So watch out frog. So this is all my sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Daniels, for the wonderful preparation. So, wow, you did slides, but you focus on two things, which is virus is equivalent to humans, and also humans are the boiling frogs. It's like imagining we
Yeah.
are the humans sitting inside the pot of water, and we are boiling it. And but we do not know the water is boiling because frog is a cold-blooded animal, right? It's not like us; we are warm-blooded. So we are just like the frog until it got boiled, and then we die. Right?
It's too late.
It's too late. Yeah. Okay. Great inputs there, Danielle. So give yourself a big round of applause. Woo! Okay. Great. Let's move on. Next, let's try just
Anyone?
anyone.
Hi, maybe I can go on.
Austin, introduce yourself and
Yeah.
explain the topics you're going to speak about COVID-19 versus the environment. All right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Bernard. Yeah, good evening, everyone who is watching this Facebook Live right now. This is our very first Facebook Live forum to Greendrink Scale. And I'm new to this Greendrinks team, so maybe I'll do a little bit introduction of myself. I'm Austin, part of the marketing team, and also I'm a green building consultant. So today our topic is COVID-19 versus the environment. And before I start my own topic, I would like to share you a video like just Isati has presented just now, which is the hungry monkeys. So I'll share my screen over here. Yeah. So this is the video. As you can see here, there's a lot of monkey on the street. And later people will throw yogurts over there and the monkeys are brawling over it. Like, wait for it. And this happened in Thailand. Yup. Okay, yeah. So this is the scene that where the monkeys are too hungry and they just they don't care what food it is, even yogurts and whatever. But luckily, the villagers. This is the latest news. The Thai villagers has like fed the monkey as the tourism dries up. So this is the latest news. Maybe you all can search this title and go for more read up on this. Yeah. So back to my topic right now. So my topic, yeah, sorry, Bernard,
just wanted to understand your statements about the monkey video. What you're trying to say, what's your message that you're trying to say in this video regarding about our topic today, the COVID-19 versus the environment?
Yeah, maybe I think Izati can talk more about this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Floor to you, Izati. Austin, we'll come back to you.
Thank you, Austin, for the video. Okay, this one, yeah, as we all can see, that's how we need to stop the chain. How we feed the wild animals. So we must find the way, solutions, how to make the animals go back to their wildlife to find their own food, right? So because if not, yeah, the villages. And then after that, what will happen? If the lockdown happen in Thailand, so what will happen to the monkeys? Because human also finding ways to find the foods, right? So this is, yeah, we need to find the solutions, how to manage this, how to put them back to their wildlife. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for my explanation.
Is there any ideas? Yeah.
Thailand is already in lockdown. They are locking down their country for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big problem for the
if
monkeys.
they have the total lockdown, so don't know how.
Yeah. Okay. Great share that. Thanks for your input, Izati. Austin,
you.
go back to you.
Okay, hi, I'm back. Yeah. So our title is COVID-19 versus the environment, right? Like people always say that how bad the COVID-19 affects the society. And our PM, our Prime Minister, just announced that the extension of the MCO, Movement Control Order, for another 2 weeks. So people knows that how bad it affects the environment. But actually during this lockdown, it also brings up some unintended benefits to the environment. So what are those? I'm going to share you some slides. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is it. So the title is Unintended Benefit of COVID-19 Lockdown. Okay, first I'm going to show that the satellite images showing the air pollutants, NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide over the US. Nitrogen dioxide in the air comes from burning of fuel, forms of emission of cars, trucks, buses, power plant, and the off-road equipment. So as you can see here, there's a field state over here. This is the map of the nitrogen, the NO2, I would call it, NO2 density in US map. So the darker the color means the higher the concentration it is. So as you can see here, there's a high concentration in Washington, Seattle, California, Los Angeles, Michigan, at the New York City over here, and Chicago. So this is the map of 2019. So what about 2020? So we are going to move to 3, 2, 1. Yep. So can you see that? Okay, one more time. Focus on the maroon color dots, like these few places that I mentioned just now. Yep. So you can see there's a big difference over here. So it's for this area, it's actually that hit hard by the coronavirus, the COVID-19. So from here, you can see that we can conclude that there's actually less pollutant during this period, as less car on the road, less people driving out for entertainment or going anywhere. So we can move to the next slide. These are the confirmed cases of the COVID-19 in US. So as I mentioned just now, the area, the Washington, California, and the New York. So the total case in US is nearly 55,000 of the cases, and the death is 778, while the recovery rate is only less than 1%. This is the 378 as of the data from today, 35th of March. And the top 5 states that have a high confirmed case within US is New York, New Jersey, California, Washington, and Michigan, I think. Yep. And the highest will be the New York, which has 26,000 plus confirmed case, which is far more than the New Jersey, which is at the second place. So what about China? So people always concerned about China, right? So this is they show the drastic drop of NO2 density in China also. So the source is also from vehicle, power plant, and industrial facilities. So from here, as you can see here, so this is the date from 1st of January to 20th, and this is from 10th of February to 25th. So as you can see, the darker the color, the higher the concentration. So from here, we can see that it's about area from Xi'an, Shaanxi, Chongqing, and Chengdu. So this is before CNY, and after CNY, it shows it drops lower than the 135 micromole per meter squared. And then what about the pollution condition in Wuhan? So there's also shows significant drop of pollutant, and it does not bounce back after the CFI. So the CFI date of 2019 is 5th of February, and CNY 2020 is 25th of January, just like about 1 week difference. So this is the NO2 density during 2019. And you can see here, this is after the CFI, it goes a lot darker, the color, means higher concentration. Well, what about 2020? Okay, you can see here, after CFI, there's the concentration is getting lower and lower. The color is getting paler. So beside the nitrogen dioxide, it also has the fall in coal consumption and also the carbon dioxide, which we concern the most. So according to Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, CREA, and research organization for the air pollution, CO2 emission were down by more than 35% between the period of 3rd of February to 1st of March. And China actually contributes about 30% of the world CO2 emission annually, and they are the world biggest producer and consumer of the coal. So I have two data over here. So this one shows the world coal production, and the graph here below here show the world coal consumption. So where's China? Okay, China is over here. This one and this one. And during 2018, China's the coal make up 59% of the China's energy use. So that's a lot, right? Okay, so the coal consumption during this period actually dropped 36% as compared to the same period last year. So you can see there's two color line over here. One is the blue line and one is the red line. The blue line is 2019. So from here, it goes down for during CNY period. This is actually the days before and after CNY. So here 10 is 10 days after, and this is negative 10 means 10 days before. So when it goes down, when people go back to hometown to celebrate CNY, and then after that, when people go back to work, it increased, it rebound. While for the 2020, it actually goes down, decrease, and only like maintain, fluctuate about the like 40k tons of coal consumption. The reason of this might due to the low energy demand during this period, during this lockdown period, and leads to better air quality, lesser air pollution. The other figures that I found is also like the industrial output are far below the usual level, like the usual operating level. The operating rates for main steel products were down by more than 15%, while the crude steel production was almost unchanged. Coal throughout the large coal port fell 29%. Cooking plants utilization fell 23%. Satellite-based NO2 levels were 37% lower. Utilization of oil refinery capacity was lower by 34%. Yep. So as you can see here, that's if China has dropped in the CO2 level, so it actually have a major impact, a huge impact to the world, as they are, as I mentioned here, they contribute 30% of the world CO2 annually. So that's really bring out a lot of effect. And yeah, this is my reference. If you all would like to have this slide, you can find it in our Facebook page or Facebook group. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much for your inputs. It was tremendous works you have put in, especially you stating very clearly that because of the COVID-19 incidents, the whole country, in particularly in China, has locked down. And because of the lockdown, there is no economy activity. Sometimes we call it the manufacturing. There's no manufacturing running, and most of the manufacturing energy come from coal. And when there's no burning of coal, the air pollution is dropping tremendously, and it's breathable now. And you're stating that the nature is breathing again.
In fact,
Yes.
it's recorded even lower than the previous year, especially during the Chinese New Year period. Actually, it's not surprising that the emission decreases during the Chinese New Year time, because most of them go on a 1 month holiday. But this time around, it's even lower than the previous year when they have their regular 1 month off holiday season. So that it really shows the big impact. When you have lower manufacturing activities going around, you have fresher air.
But just curious, something came into my mind. It's yes, the environment is better now, but how about the economy? Because of the COVID-19 incidents, almost every country in the world shut down their economy. There's a lot of stimulus package. The governments are pumping a lot of money to ensure that this economy is running. Any one of you all had some comments about the economy versus the environment, especially these COVID-19 scenarios? Yes, cool.
I read a news just now, I think it's Chinese paper, saying that if our COVID-19 situation and the lockdown period extend by certain amounts, like for example, if extend to 1 month, actually they will create a lot of unemployment, up to 240. I think will be up to 2 million people that may be jobless. So that's a very huge impact in terms of our economy itself in Malaysia. And the next thing is that in terms of economics, actually, uh, markets is facing a lacking of supplies in terms of food. For example, like breads. Like Armenia actually already reached the maximum capacity in terms of productions. But the questions come is that people is not getting the breads because like one family taking 5 to 6. But before COVID-19 or before lockdown, the breads is everywhere. You can see everywhere. But when COVID-19 lockdown happens, that's the things that happens that a lot of people is rushing for foods. So eventually that although the demand is there, but the supply is not enough for our consumer itself. This is what happening basically around my space area here lah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting inputs.
I have a thought actually. We are all happy that the emission decreases all around the world during the lockdown period. It's actually just a short-term luxury that we are enjoying, because as soon as the country is launching all the economic stimulus, and as soon as we get over the COVID-19, the manufacturing will start again. And
Yeah.
this time around, it's going to multiply. It's going to be even more intensified, because they need to catch up in order to reclaim the economy and prevent from collapsing. So most of the researchers and scientists have actually highlighted a lot of time that as the country launched the economic stimulus, they need to take into account about green and also environmental issues. They need to think about how to pump in more money to actually encourage the green sector, particularly in clean energy. Because if there is another COVID-19 situation or any disastrous or catastrophic event, energy is going to be the biggest concern, because if you don't have energy, you can't even run your healthcare sectors. And that's where the whole things will become more serious. So this is actually something that we really need to be more critical about, instead of being overly excited at the moment on the decrease. We need to actually act faster than the future, before the future takes place. Yeah.
However, in these dire situations, everyone is so desperate on making money for themselves to make sure things are running, and people have so much fear that they will lose their job and so many incomes generations for themselves. I think the consciousness is not there. I mean, people is focusing just one thing, which is the economy. I have not heard a lot of people discussing about yes, you're pumping trillions of dollars, billions, or even Malaysia, we are talking about billions of dollars into the markets, but there is no elements of sustainability. There's no elements of actually nature needs to be protecting instead of keep on bulldozing and creating more economy generations.
Yeah. In fact, there's this surge of frustration from a lot of environmentalists and activists, especially Greenpeace, that they mention, why aren't the government pumping money for climate crisis?
Yeah.
But they pump so much money to help the COVID-19 situation. Isn't COVID-19 as equivalent as the seriousness of it equivalent to climate crisis? It's actually the same, but we are being very biased. I mean, being human ourselves, that we prioritize our own well-being first and nature second.
Yeah. Okay, great input, Shimei. Who else would like to speak about the economy versus the environment? Oh, wow, Jason, come. Jason, we can't hear you. No sound.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Okay, hi everyone.
Yeah.
Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm studying environmental engineering in Utah. So today, I just want to represent the audience to feedback just now mailing in the Facebook, she wanted Shelly Hing. She want to share some views on the slideshow about the Thailand monkeys. So maybe she will comment in future. And before that, we would like to have more audience to comment about queries, so we can give you a feedback later before we end. And we'll read through all the questions by 9:15. So we still have 15 minutes to comment in. So hope to see you comment soon. And let's get back to Bernard because I still fixing my screen. I still don't know what happened. Sorry, Bernard.
Okay. Thanks, Jason, for the feedback, especially because now we are doing a Facebook Live. And as I've seen in the screens, we have approximately 10 to 15 people joining us in this Facebook Live. So if you are joining us, if you are hearing this, you have comments, you have any thoughts, anything, just put in the comments. We would like to hear from you, and perhaps we can have discussions here, and feel free to share your inputs. All right, Jason, since you are solving your technical issues, let's move on with Simpson. Simpson.
Hey, Bernard. Okay, all right. Thank you, Bernard. Okay, I am Simpson Tan, and I'm the CEO of Greendrink KL. Right. Okay, so, well, in the beginning, we mentioned, she may mention about some myth. Let me, debunk some myth over here. So, in the beginning of our, what's it called, RMO's season, the COVID-19 time, we have this, we have seen several articles where dolphins, some videos as well, where dolphins are back to the canal of Venice, and also there are like several elephants getting drunk on corn wine in China. Well, and means it kind of shows that animals are coming back to the place where it used to be, where the people, has actually taken up their land. But unfortunately, all these are myths. Well, it is some positive thing but then unfortunately it's not true. It's giving people hope, but at the same time, it's actually it's quite demoralizing. And it's we know that's actually not true. But anyhow, okay. Anyhow, what is it called? Those are myths, but we have other, just now Austin has shared that the air pollution in China and US, they has decreased. The nitrogen dioxide and carbon dioxide level has decreased, and so on. All these are good news. And in our very own in our very own Malaysia, the friends of Sungai Klang in has reported that the river of Sungai Klang is now very clear now. So yeah, that's a very good news. And in fact, in Venice, people has shared that, well, I've seen small little fish, and they are thinking that the fishes are actually going back to the canal. Well, it's actually the boats are actually not moving in the canals, so the motors are not actually stirring up the murky water in the canals. So what happened is when it is the water is clear, people actually see the ecosystem down there. Well, when we are actually living in this very hectic life, we don't really see the ecosystem or the environment out there. But during this season, we can see that people are actually slowing down, and then they have actually some positive impact towards the environment, let's say air pollution, and also they actually see that the life form which is apart from animals itself. So, well, this sometimes we see that COVID-19, it is quite as just now as we mentioned, economy wise, is very bad for the economy, and it is bad for a lot of things. But in fact, this COVID-19 is actually very similar to climate change. In fact, if there is climate change, we ourselves will, I mean, the government, for example, they need to actually pump in a lot of money to mitigate this issue. For example, I mean, if there's a typhoon or something, I mean, a very great flood like the other day in Kelantan, we actually need to pump in a lot of money, resources, and our time to mitigate these issues. So it's actually very similar. So yeah, but the thing is, well, why all? I mean, not every one of us use this chance to actually slow down and think of what we can. I mean, how we can actually reduce the effect of climate change using this chance, because we have seen that while people are staying at home, the what's it called? The environment is healing. I mean, the environment is healing, and she may mention, well, it is definitely not permanent. After COVID-19 is over, it will bounce back. But well, maybe we can actually think of in the future. We can think of perhaps we can commute greener, and also and also be more conservative with our energy usage. For example, right now when we are staying at home, we can do our part to be greener too. For example, don't use aircon so much and so on. Use fan instead. We will have a lot of, I mean, these few weeks, I believe you guys will actually, I mean, all of us will notice how much household waste we produce. So at this time, it's actually a very good time to start recycling. We have all the time we have to do recycling, to start our own recycling bin. And perhaps those are very pretty tough, but one simple thing is just avoid plastic. Reduce the use of plastic. And yeah, so we can do things, I mean, not just because, I mean, we can actually learn from this COVID-19, and we can actually be greener through this experience. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Simpson. Wow, your wonderful spiritual talk. I agree with you, Simpsons. I think most of us, we have been chasing with our dream. Could be money, could be anything that we are motivating on with our life, and we are running so fast that we forget about spending time for ourselves. Yeah, during this COVID-19 lockdown, possibly it's the time to spend more time for yourself with the nature, with the environment. Like for me, I'm very happy that I planted so many vegetables in my garden. I have more time. I revive my soil so well now. I just had a chat with neighbor. He very envy with the plants that I grow. All are very beautiful, and asked me to fix their plant. So these are the little things that we can do for ourselves. Well, we don't have the time before the lockdown, or maybe after the lockdown. So thank you, Simpsons, for the thoughts. Anyone else would like to speak about what Simpsons spoke just now? Okay, Vincent.
Okay. Bernard, so let me continue to my sharing, but in a very minor screen. So
Okay.
I recorded through my phone. So I'm sharing like the COVID has slow pandemic and fast pandemic version. So everyone doesn't know this spreading is like a natural disaster, is like a exponential scale. So when we scale up, you see the curve. So in this curve, we can see the medical supplies is all breakdown, and then what happened in this situation for us human as environmental stuff, it will go down to the bottom, so we cannot survive on the pandemic situation. So if the environment situation is going to be something like this, we all cannot handle the whole situation. So my sharing is, so last year, before this COVID-19, we have fire forests in Australia, in in America, and then in South Africa. But the South Africa has the most less media to take focus in it, because it doesn't have very good GDP. So in all ways, but the Australia has the highest media photo shooting and then media showing because it has very high GDP. So right now we can see the difference on the media treating the forest fire based on the capital GDP. So in future, if we doesn't treat and have a good defense system for the nature disaster, it may break out in even higher rate. So everyone cannot has Earth as a very sustainable home. So that's my sharing. And I've noticed a lot of questions in the Facebook. So maybe we can go through it one by one right now.
All right, all right. Thank you, Jason, for the inputs. It's true. The situations of climate change is very alarming, and we really need to act now. The forest fire in Australia is really killing their economy as well. And I just read about a news in the Arctic. The ice are melting. All of us know, and the forests are growing back there because of the melted ice. They have ground now, and because of the growing forest, they are now having forest fire in Arctic. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, isn't that crazy? So climate change is real, and we need real actions now. So now it's 9:14. We have approximately 16 minutes left before our end. I'll pass the floor to Shimei. Shimei will introduce, will speak about the comments that we receive from our audience, and then we could possibly discuss about it. Right.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read out some questions that we received earlier from Iskandar. What do you guys think of a possible looming global economic recession, and how a recession may impact our environment? Would it hurt sustainability effort in the future? Anyone wants to take the questions? So basically, Iskandar is talking about how global economic recession will actually somehow affect how we preserve the environment as well.
I can answer that. I think it's very challenging here because most company for profits company, and in order to gain profits is to manipulate or to destroy the nature from doing it. I think the recessions it definitely gonna help. Because company will slow down their activity, and there are not many things they can do, especially now during the COVID-19. However, we have to take note as well. The government is doing a lot of stimulus package to ensure to bail out this company, make sure they are going as usual. I have a feelings it will go back to square one. I think most importantly is we ourselves make that little change for the environment. Could be recycling, could be composting, or anything that starts from your kitchens, anything in your lifestyle. Governments have their ways to solve the environmental problem, but we have the bigger impact if every individuals do that change. Yeah. Anyone else would like to speak about it? Chip in?
If no, then we move on to the second question from Eugene Low. Thank you very much. By the way, we should thank everyone first for all the questions and comments. So Eugene says, to what we have noticed, COVID-19 has shown us that a decrease in activity has benefited our environment. Should we be worried that when people restart the economy, will human pollution be worse than before? Anyone, any comments?
I want to share this these things that yes, I think for my view is definitely will go, because especially in China, lockdown period causing them the economy is dropping a lot, and when the lockdown of China also affecting not China itself but also the nation that trade with them. For instance, Malaysia is one of them. So once they start unlock the lockdown, so I think they were trying to boost up by maybe even double, so that to boost their economy back to the top again. So I think at that time they will make our environment worse than the before. Constantly having the high rates, or even after unlock, they will be higher and higher again. So that's another worry from my view lah.
However, I have a different opinions compared to Ku. Is because of this lockdown, the nature is breathing again. Everyone experiencing it now. So I feel that it's a blessing. People knows that actually their city is very livable. Yeah, and I have experienced this before. And next time when the economy is improving, I will put more awareness. I will put more efforts and actions into government's plans. Make sure, hey, this you should be careful in the plan, blah blah blah. Because I want the clean air. I've experienced this. I'm not born or grown up in this polluted city. I have experienced a clean city, and my body feels so good. My mental is feel so fresh. So yeah, that's my comment about it. Thanks, Eugene, about your comment.
Yeah.
Hope it helps you. Next.
The third question is from Jun Yong. Shimei, you mentioned that in such a period as COVID-19 pandemic, government is pumping in most of the money into healthcare for sure, and helping our country economy, so that our country do not collapse. As we see, this MCO is affecting most of the SME and self-employed or daily salary-based worker. In such a scene, I think prioritization is still important to identify which is more important to save first. But would you share your view if there is one thing toward environmental aspect that our government want to pump in money? Which area would you suggest to be? Personally, I think yes, it is definitely a top priority to pump in money into the healthcare system first. But my earlier frustration, I think, is because in middle February, we actually read a news in a deforestation news happened in Perak, which is very disheartening for us because this happened in one of the oldest nursery. It's called James Kingham Nursery, where they have the most important
gene bank. It's like a gene bank.
It's like a gene bank for a lot of tree and plant species, and they actually preserve a lot of these endangered species in their nursery, and they are actually one of the main supplier to a lot of local councils landscaping,
and especially in Singapore too.
And also in Singapore, yeah. So when we learn that deforestation is happening at that place, it's just mind blowing that because the moment you start to destroy an ecosystem, you will have to anticipate more viruses in the future, more bacteria, more unpredictable catastrophic event. And that is where the government, of course, after you have pumped in all the money to help the people and the healthcare, please look into the environmental aspect. I read an article from The Guardian that explains partly why viruses is emerging in the current situation that we are facing. It's not surprising for the scientists because historically this happens in Africa, even in Malaysia. Taking example from our Nipah virus that we experienced back in 2000 something, I can't remember. So why we have Nipah virus is because we actually have a lot of deforestation. We actually take away the habitat of our animals. So taking example from bat, when there's no tree, they do not have a habitat. So they will look for the nearest home, which is your orchard, because you have trees. So when they stay in your orchard, they will be feeding on the fruits that the tree is bearing. So after eating the fruits, they will defecate, which means they will how do I call it in a more polite way, remove their feces. So the droppings actually was then eaten by the pigs. So and then it transmitted to human because most people eat pigs and what do I call it? Pork, sorry. And also the meat is supplied to other places, and that's where we get all the viruses around at that point of time. So this actually tells us that there is certain boundary that we should not be over-exploiting, because when you start doing that, we will have to face the music. So that is what I mean by the government actually have to look into how to actually preserve nature, because these are all interrelated. Yeah.
I think Shimei, you're trying to say it's to strike the balance. Yeah, because it's easy. Everyone knows we want a profitable nations. We want an employment persons also to run the economy. But however, if we know and we are aware, we have a high consciousness about striking the balance, especially towards the environment, the destructions of the environment. I think the environment has hope. There is way to preserve it at the same time, helping the economy to grow. Okay. Anyone else would like to comment on Jun Yong comment, particularly on the government's way pumping money? Which area you suggest to be? Anyone?
Well, let me try.
Yes.
I think one thing is we are usually talking about things. We are talking about the food. We are talking about the transportation. We are talking about energy. We are talking about stuff. I mean, things. But we don't really talk about the human. To me, I believe most of the cause of the root cause of the problem is actually the human, our own attitude, our own what is it called, our habit. So if we can actually improve on our habit, or rather increase the awareness and make sure that we do it on to be, let's say, better, to be greener, or to be more responsible, I think that would be good. And I think if we can pump some of our effort onto changing the mindset of people, I think it'll be much better. That's all for me.
Hi guys, I want to add on. So, despite of Junyong's question, I interested in answering Iskandar Daniel question about the food security. So for right now, government doesn't have any good plan for securing everyone's stomach, and we have to pay take our money from our KW's account to survive every day. So for me, this is a good time to predict what Simpson mentioned about the good habit. So good neighborhood can be a good habit. So what funny thing in my area right now is some of my neighbors they will cook a big pot of the porridge or leong soi, which is some little dessert. So they will bring extra to me, and then as I have an orchard, so I will bring them some papaya and then some jackfruit, and then I will peel it, and then I just pass them in a container so they can enjoy the fruits, and we are surviving in this lack of food uh, lack of food security time in this COVID-19 lockdown in Malaysia. So I hope you get a good answer from me. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, I would like to talk about with the food security parts, which recently for the past 2 weeks, I actually researching on food security itself. So I give a few statistics first. In Malaysia itself, based on our global food security indexes, actually Malaysia is rated at the number 28. Okay, it's not too high but it's not too low, but we are the top one. The food security index is actually Singapore. So whatever things that happens for them, even they're having a lockdown, they don't need to worry about the food security. But in Malaysia, the food that we self-produce itself within Malaysia itself, don't say about imports. Our food that we produce ourselves is only can for us to sustain not more than 1 month. So that's a bit sad for us because our food is not enough for ourselves. So actually, like what Simpson said, also mentioned about good habits. At lockdowns periods, it's actually the best time for us to carry out like what Brennan doing, farming in your house, regardless of planting in soil, aquaponic, hydroponic, this kind of urban type of methods. Because as what we research, 70% of people living in KL is living in condominiums. They say they're actually lacking of lands, lacking for plantation sites. But then actually they can start practicing in terms of simple hydroponics, which is there is available in the market. So it's like train ourselves to have a good habit in terms of planting ourselves to increase our food sufficiency ratio in Malaysia itself. This basically that I can share.
Thank you, Cool. Anyway, talking about planting in condominiums, Greendrink KL has done an event on that before. We have video recording about it. We invited one of the best speakers to talk about it. You all can view back in our YouTube channels and have a view on it. Hopefully, it could help you. All right. Okay. Last but not least, let's pass on to Shimei. Shimei, you have the last comment, right?
Yeah, we received a comment from Shaylee who were interested with our monkey topic earlier on. Just for those who have
Hi, Shaylee.
for those who have just joined us, we were actually talking about monkeys running around looking for food because they were so used to being fed by the tourists and visitors. So what Shaylee mentioned here is animal tourism in Thailand is nothing new. For example, the working elephants. In actual, Thailand no longer has a robust wild elephant population. Most working elephants in Thailand were poached and smuggled from Myanmar. In fact, most of them are owned by Thai politicians. One elephant can easily cost 30 to 40K. Due to the hard work of many environmentalists, the Thai government has bought in the idea of creating a sanctuary where visitors can see elephants in their nature surroundings. It is a slow and long journey to transition from all this gimmicky tourism into ecotourism. So back to the Thai monkeys, a sanctuary can work equally well because not only there is a visitor's fee, there is also potential to attract paid volunteers to help out at the sanctuary. I guess the question here is how to ensure that the locals get a piece of the pie. Of course, international community must continue to speak up and voice our criticism of any touristy activities involving animals. Thank you so much, Shaylee, for sharing
Thank
this.
you for the sharing. It's a statement, right?
Yeah.
I saw the questions on it. All right. Any last words from the floor? Any one of you? No? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining the first Facebook Live Greendrinks KL event. Give yourself a big round of applause. Woo-hoo! All right, for today's discussions, I think some of us, we did some presentation slides. We also shown you some YouTube videos, some website links. We'll put it up in this Facebook list, and we do subscribe us in the newsletter. We will send you email content on today's discussion as well. So you have all the links and get aware about COVID-19 versus the environment case we discussed here. And we hope you enjoy for today's sessions. Our first Greendrinks KL live Facebook live events. I'm so happy for your team. Really a wonderful job. It's our first time doing it. I hope more to come. And I remember reading a comment in the Facebook page from one of the audience. He wrote that actually if we do a Facebook live, it's actually more environmental friendly and more carbon negative or carbon neutral, which is true because every time when we do a physical events, people come from far away. Some come from Kampa, Ipoh, I don't know, Rawang, Malacca. I heard so many. So maybe Facebook Live, we could get someone far away, even far away in Europe, so in America too, to join us one day. Let's make it better the next time. And thank you for joining to all the audience. And we hope you learned something. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.